Hi everybody, I'm here with Jackie Joyner. Huh? Okay. Hi everybody, I'm here with Jackie Joyner Percy. How are you? Great to see you.
Thank you. I'm doing great. Thank you.
Now you've broken so many records, won so many medals. What is it like right now looking back on that career?
Oh, you know what? It's when I look back on it, a very tough career, and everyone always asks, "Oh, are you going to be out there competing?" No, because I work too hard, and I know how hard the athletes today are working. But it was a wonderful career, and I gave everything I had to give the sport while I was competing. And when I walked away knowing that I had nothing else left to give it.
What was one of the toughest years for you? What was one of the toughest years for you?
The toughest year probably was my last Olympic Games, '96, because I was healthy and ready to go, and then I got injured doing the heptathlon. But it was the toughest year, but it was the most memorable and rewarding year for me, because I saw everything come full circle from 1984 of doubting myself and being in the same situation in '96, turning that around to believe in myself and trying to go for the win and come away with a bronze medal.
Now I think that shows not just mental toughness, not just physical toughness, but mental toughness as well, because you were able to come after an injury.
Yes, and that's what, usually that's what it comes down to, because all the athletes across the board are physically ready to go, but it's the one that have that mental toughness, I think, is going to prevail and be successful.
How does an athlete prepare mentally?
How you prepare mentally is in going through different obstacles or distraction, and then evaluating those distractions. Do you let that interfere with your training? Do you put it off emotionally? No, you have to stick with the game plan, and you have to continue to know what your goals are, and these are the things that you have to do.
How do you see females right now in sports in general?
Oh, I see a growing population with females in sports, and I'm just loving it, because with Title IX and '72, and then the women that came before me that didn't have the same opportunities, and even now today, people are embracing female athletes and appreciating their talents.
Now, after you retired, have you had the chance to maybe mentor certain athletes, female athletes?
Oh yes, I do. I mentor a lot of the athletes. Alex and Felix is one of the athletes I mentor. Don Harper, Michelle Perry, a lot of athletes that my husband is still coaching today. And then there's some athletes that's going to be on our team, like a Brittany Reese or a Halise Fountain, that, any of the U.S. athletes, my numbers is available to them. But then I also do a lot with the grassroots, because I do believe in working with the developmental, because I think that your Olympic champions, your state champions, and national champions come from our grassroots programs.
Now, something I really like about you is that you not only you won all these medals, and you didn't go away. You stayed, and you're helping other people. You're helping other athletes with your foundation, and I think you created another foundation for athletes to also help, right?
Yes, that's one of the things that I was very fortunate that as a young girl, people volunteered, made a difference in my life. So as I continue to grow and develop, those are some of the same things I wanted to do. And I just don't want to work with people that just want to be great athletes. I really want to work with people wanting to be great citizens, because I think that if you're a great person, you can do great things in whatever your endeavors are.
Thank you so much, Jackie.
Thank you.
Much luck.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Everybody, I'm here with the great and talented Carl Lewis. How are you? How are you today?
I never have a bad day. Thank goodness. Yeah, I was raised to be happy, and I'm just trying to keep it moving.
Well, we're here at the Nike event unveiling the new uniforms. Now, you were talking about the uncomfortableness of what they were like when you used them to now.
Yeah, when I first started in the beginning, we had those heavy, bulky uniforms, and they were uncomfortable. And so I remember working with Nike way back in '82 and '83 on starting to wear the bodysuits. I was like the first person to wear the bodysuits way back in the early '80s. And I realized this was comfortable, and now it's normal. But in those days, everyone's like, "What are you doing wearing this bodysuit?" But to me, it wasn't necessarily about, "Oh, this is what people used to wear." It's about what's best for me to perform my best.
Now, how do you see the team forming right now, Olympic? I hear you rooting only USA, and USA is going to win. You think so?
Yeah, I'm a hater. I admit it. I'm sorry. I'm a hater. I'm USA all the way. But I think that the United States, in the sprints between men and women, will win more medals than any other country. They can talk all that other stuff they want, but at the end of the day, I think they will win the most medals, without question.
Now, I asked Jackie this question. What was the toughest year for you when you were in the Olympics?
Well, my toughest was obviously the last. I was 35 in my last Olympics, and it was a challenge. And it's not just a physical challenge, because when you get that age, all of a sudden, a lot of issues you become important, family, how's my house, are the bills paid? Really your life changes. And so to be able to come around at that time and have that success was tremendous for me.
Is it tough deciding when to retire?
Well, for me, it wasn't. I know for a lot of people have a difficult time, but when I started competing, I started thinking about retirement. And it kind of sounds bizarre to say that, but I realized this was a short term in my life. I didn't think it would last as long as it did. So I said, well, I better be ready for the end because I like this lifestyle, And so it was very clear to me in Atlanta. I was leading up to that, but when I was in Atlanta, when I stepped off the podium, I knew it was ready, and I've never looked back. And it was one of the proudest days of my entire career was the day I retired because I knew I was ready.
Now, when you were prepared, what were some things that you would do to prepare mentally, maybe?
Well, my thing is that I had a great coach, Tom Tellez, and his whole thing was prepare. You prepare in practice and you show it in the meet. So we would train and get ready. So I always knew Thursday or Friday before the meet, I'm ready or I'm not. So that my biggest mental preparation was taking away the variables that may make it more difficult. And so that was kind of the thing. And so I went in usually knowing I was ready. And fortunately for me, I was in 20 finals in the Olympics or World Championships and we had 17 goals. So and 3 medals. I never was out of the medals. And so it was just a tremendous opportunity for me to do that and to be prepared because I had such a great coach and we focused on the fundamentals and get there ready.
Have you been able afterwards to mentor other athletes?
Yes, I do. I work with a lot of young athletes. My focus now through the Carl Lewis Foundation and what I do is to work with kids 18 and under. And whether that's just mentoring them as young men, as young athletes, trying to get them into college, trying to make them better as students, trying to make them better as athletes. So that's my focus. Because, the pros have their thing, colleges are set up. Let's just get down with the kids where we can really make a difference.
What are some of the athletes that you see right now that maybe are going to become stars just like you?
Well, you know what? I am fortunate enough to have a kid that's a senior this year. He just graduated from my high school, and it's such a joy. In 10th grade, he started running track and field, and then in 11th grade, he became one of the best high hurdlers in the country. And now he's going to my University of Houston, where I went to school. And I'm gonna tell you, that kid's gonna be an Olympian one day. He's going to school for engineering. He's a tremendous young man named Isaac Williams.
Isaac Williams, remember, right?
Isaac Williams will make the Olympic team one day, and he started running track when he was 15.
Wow. So that's a little late?
It's very late. It's very late for track and field. But I saw the kid, and I saw his spirit, I saw his ability, and we started working for him. Matter of fact, I called Leroy, my teammate at the University of Houston, I said, save a scholarship for this guy in 2 years. He had only been running like 2 weeks, but I saw the talent and the vision in him. Such a tremendous athlete and a great kid.
Now, just before we finish, you were able to also extend your career into entertainment business. Are we going to be seeing you in any movies soon or any commercials? What?
Well, I've been very fortunate because I was a radio television major and speech communication major, and I've always wanted to do this. And the most fortunate thing is that I've always worked for me my whole adult life. And I have commercials that'll be out. You'll see some commercials this summer.
Okay.
I shot 2 and I'm in 2 others. And I'll be doing interviews. Oprah's interviewing me in a few weeks, so you'll see me on Oprah.
On Oprah's next chapter?
Yeah, you're right, exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm doing that. And so you'll see me. I'm not going anywhere. I have a few years, got a little gray, but Papa's not going anywhere yet.
Well, thank you so much. Good luck with everything else that you're doing with your career, and congratulations with your foundation. I love it when athletes help other athletes, and young ones especially.
Great, thank you very much, and Isaac Williams.
Isaac Williams, all right? Remember that next superstar, right?
Great, thank you.
Thank you. Now I'm with Michael Johnson. How are you today?
I'm good, how are you?
Good, thank you. How does it feel kind of looking back right now from today, looking back at your Olympic career?
It's always good to, hang out with Jackie and Carl and talk about, back when we were competing and that sort of thing. But it's more exciting to be here, looking at, what the uniforms are going to look like for the U.S., this current U.S. team, and it looks really, really good.
Now, does color really matter?
It's not so much that color matters. The thing is the U.S. team hasn't had a red uniform, I think, since 1988. And so, the red just is going to really stand out. I think the fans are really going to enjoy being able to see that's the U.S. team. We've had blue for so long. Every team I was on, we had blue uniforms. And so the red is just much more bold, makes a statement. I think it'll look really good.
And you said something about you look good, you feel good.
Absolutely. Don't you feel good?
Of course.
Because you look good.
Thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a confidence builder, you know. I mean, that's not to say, I mean, let's be honest, not to say that athletes are going to be thinking about what their uniforms look like when they get out on the track, but obviously when they get that uniform, they're going to think, this is cool, you know, and that Nike has actually, you know, put some thought into not just making the uniforms, you know, obviously, you got to remember with track athletes, especially sprinters, that's your only equipment, so it's got to fit and it's got to fit right. But that's important. But then again, you know, like I said, they'll look at it and think, this looks really cool. I think it'll make them feel good.
Now, looking back, what was there any difference from your first year to the last year?
In terms of what?
In terms of your enthusiasm, your wanting to get out there?
No, not at all for me. I mean, my first Olympics, obviously, I was extremely excited to make my first Olympic team. And then from there, my last Olympics, obviously, you know, just, you know, I knew it was going to be my last. I wanted to go out with a bang, and I was able to do that. So, you know, anytime you have the opportunity to make an Olympic team, I was fortunate to make 3 of them. I mean, most people can't make 1, you know, and that's our dream. You know, many track athletes would love to make 1, so you never take that for granted. So I was always, you know, excited to get out there and the opportunity to go out there and represent your country and go out there and live a dream.
And now currently you're the only athletes who have won the 200 meter and the 400 meter at the same event. What was that day like for you?
It was obviously it was a dream come true. It was a lot of different things: relief, joy, you know, and certainly an incredible sense of accomplishment, because it took a lot of work, and you know, I believed that I could be successful and that I could do it, but it's not done until it's done.
What was the proudest moment for you throughout the whole career?
You know, it's really hard to pick out one moment, you know, and I'm asked that question quite a bit, but for me, what I'm most proud of is my consistency throughout my entire career. That, you know, I went to 3 different Olympics and 5 different world championships, and I was able to bring home gold every time, and so I'm incredibly proud of my consistency.
What's your advice to this year's team?
You know, I think that most of them will know this, but it's good to always remind athletes, you know, that, you know, you can't take this for granted. You know, you may not be fortunate to make another Olympic team, and the last thing you want is to walk away from that Olympics not having performed at the level you want to, and then think, and I could have done better. You know, you want to walk away from there, regardless of whether you get a gold medal, a bronze medal, or no medal at all. You want to walk away from there feeling like I gave that my all and I had my best performance at the Olympics when it counted.
Now, did you always know that you wanted to be an athlete, a track, field? Was there any other sport maybe that you looked into?
No, you know, I mean, growing up, I played a lot of different sports, and I really didn't know what I would ultimately do. I was just actually, honestly, I was just enjoying sports and not really thinking about, you know, being a professional. And I was fortunate to be able to continue, and I was fortunate to have the talent and discover that I had that talent, and then went on to, you know, to compete on the college level, and then I was able to go into the professional level. So, you know, I think I benefited in my career from not getting too far ahead of myself and being a, you know, 13-year-old, you know, thinking about, you know, being in the Olympics, you know, in 10 years' time.
And now you have the opportunity also to help those who are coming up, or you have a sports management company?
I'm sorry?
You have a sports management company?
Right. Yeah, so we manage some athletes and try to help them with their careers and commercial opportunities. I was fortunate in my career to have a great endorsement portfolio and able to capitalize on a lot of the success that I had, and so we try to help those athletes with that.
Well, thank you so much, and best of luck with everything else that you're doing with the rest of your career.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right.